The thing that I wanted to talk to Amin about, though, in terms of selling yourself, because I really do find fascinating for reasons that many of you are probably finding off-putting because of how often I'm talking about the industry. But you know at this point that First Take has gone from the most criticized show that ESPN had to now a real kingmaker in a space when all of these media members are creating their own content islands and businesses. The career of J.J. Redick has been fascinating to me to watch for a number of different reasons. And keep in mind, J.J. Redick had his choice of all the jobs he wanted in basketball. All of them. He could have been a coach if he wanted to. That seems like a nightmare compared to what he's doing. What he's doing, very smartly, using First Take as a tool, is being on First Take, being smarter than anyone at ESPN about basketball, and knowing that he's smarter than anyone at ESPN at basketball, and now condescending both the audience and the people with him on First Take with a smugness that is unique to him because he's a Duke guy and he's known how to be hated for 25 years. And so I want to talk for a moment about what he did yesterday, a couple of different things that he did. One, he goes on First Take, purposely using that platform the way Shannon Sharpe is, grateful for it while condescending it, while mocking it, while on it, in a way that makes Stephen A. Smith turn up the argument and makes for good television, indisputably good television. J.J. Redick's good at television. Stephen A. Smith is great at television. Yesterday on the show, J.J. Redick pulled back the contrivance of the sports argument in a way that made Shannon Sharpe yell at him because Shannon Sharpe saying, you got to discuss the hypothetical, and Redick saying, I talked in the meeting about this. I don't have a place for disagreement here. I want to educate fans. I want to be smart. But you don't want the education, he says. When I put up a clip of 9 straight Zion possessions, you don't want to see that. That's got 54,000 views. But when I say Doc's not accountable, 10 million views, because that's what you want. And so I'm giving the customer what they want. And what he's doing is creating the career that all of these guys, Amin, who are just as competitive at 40 than they were at 20. They're all trying to win the media game, and what J.J. Redick is doing is he's now got some of the most powerful positions in sports to be smarter than others, to remind you that he's smarter than others, that he knows it, and to deal with the consequences, because he's been a villain for 25 years, of that wildly increasing his profile, because now he's polarizing as well. He is a Duke guy through and through, and to traffic on it for profit in retirement, he's going to make more money post-career than he made during his career.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to check that one out.
A lot of money playing ball, man, especially those last few years in Philly and stuff.
That guy's going to have money. That guy, if he wants to work for 30 years in this business as Pat McAfee, he can do it. He's building his own brand. You guys got to pay attention to what these people are doing. You don't think Shannon Sharpe's about to make more money than he did playing?
Yeah, 117 million JJ made.
Dude, 117
and we got $50 million for Chris Cody.
Well,
no,
he doesn't see
No, when you break it down, Chris Cody didn't get $50 million.
Man, Dan didn't get $50 million.
J.J. Redick is his own brand, our thing.
Scott's got all of the $50 million.
We can walk this take back some.
I don't think you have
a lot
to.
of million. He made a lot of millions.
He's going to have a very successful media career. Is he going to make $100 million on this side of his career?
He's just starting, and he's starting with one of the prime gigs in basketball. Doc Rivers wanted that gig. Like, Mark Jackson was dying to get in that gig. He can coach wherever he wants. The rest of his career is going to be whatever. You can argue with me with the semantics, or you can argue with me by $40 million. My point is these guys are going to be just as competitive about the money post-retirement as they were before retirement.
Of course, they're all. I'm competitive about the money. Like we all are, aren't we? We're doing a thing here. We all competitive, Dan. But I think the interesting thing to me about JJ is JJ has been doing this the whole time. Where he's right. He's like, I want to do this stuff. I want to sit down with Tyrese Halliburton and talk about the thing Atlanta did where they vacate the left side and then all of a sudden you get a back screen over here by a Kongu and then you get a wide open shot for Bogdanovic. He wants to do that talk, but you know what he discovered? The same thing I discovered when I was writing for ESPN.com. It's like nobody gives a Everyone likes to complain about, all you guys do is this and that. No one ever talks about the actual basketball. But the reality is the actual basketball, and this is my theory that I've run with for damn near a decade now. What I realize is basketball is a game that is a low barrier to entry. in order to understand basketball, okay, there's 2 hoops. This team's trying to score that way. This team's trying to score that way. You got to dribble in order to get from one place to one other place. You can't pick up your dribble and then dribble again. All right, I get the rules, pretty much. So people who watch a lot of basketball think they understand basketball. I get it. I've been watching basketball my whole life. And the reality is they don't know what they're looking at. And so when people start to reveal to them how much stuff, so many people think they don't run plays in the NBA. Like, are you insane? There's all types of plays getting run. But when we start to reveal what's getting run out there, you have one of 2 reactions. There's one reaction. It's like, oh, man, there's so much I didn't know that's happening that I didn't realize was happening. And so there's one of 2 reactions. Either, wow, maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was, or 2, man, you're full of shit, right? It's to lash out because the feeling of, oh, I'm stupid, I'm not smart, is not something fans want. So they watch the stuff that makes them feel smart. Kevin Durant's not a leader. I'll tell you why. When has he ever led anybody? When has he ever won? That's an argument that someone can have a counter argument to and feel smart about.
You have done a record number of fake voices today. I feel like
It's
you
not
have
a
done.
fake- what fake voice is it?
No, you've done like 7 or 8 impersonations.
The Murphy one was my favorite.
The shirt is just so bad.
You know what?
I can't
did
take you
Oddball.
seriously.
It wasn't wrinkled on Oddball. The cameras
Shut
in that
up.
room,
Man.
the cameras in that room,
Stop
way
it.
better. These cameras,
And I saw you trying to pull your shirt down.
We all saw you.
And then you just had like the Victorian era sleeves going.
He was standing in front of the hand dryer in the bathroom for 10 minutes trying to get a steam on. It didn't work.
That is one of the worst shirts I've ever seen. You're totally unpresentable.
But Dan, to my point, right? It's a sport. It's a game that people want to feel smart about because they feel like they watch it all the time, as opposed to football, where we have been programmed to know, oh, this is so complicated. Spider Y X banana 20 double zip. Blip, blip. Fans are programmed to think, okay, so I don't know as much as these guys here, but I like crashes and stuff.
You
like
look
that.
crazy. Put on a jacket. Have some pride.
I do have
We
pride.
have
bro.
sweatshirts.
You know
Just
what?
put something on.
You know how I have pride? I don't find self-worth in what I'm wearing, Mr. Material.
You should.
No.
You really should consider changing your whole view on that.
My self-worth, my internal locus of control happens around.
You look totally
who I
out
am.
of control. You look like you're falling apart.
No.
Yeah,
Not
it's
at all.
not a good look. It's just really bad.
You know what? You do the runway stuff, I'll do the meat and potatoes, right? I'll do the
You are not a
real
serious
analysis.
person. You are not.
The
I can't
analysis
even-
that people crave.
I'm embarrassed to look at you.
Yeah.
You're breaking down backdoor screens. You're breaking down what coaches are doing and how that,
This guy's talking about fashion.
impossible.
You look
impossible
like you
for him to
do
no
not
ball.
care at all about cleaning this pool.
What?
Can you, as a group, explain to me whether you think the way Nick Wright does when he talks about vanquishing his rivals? I've told you before, if you've been listening for a while, to me the victory in this is being able to do it. Like, as I got later in life, competitive became less and less important to me.
You used to be competitive at this?
At newspapering.
Oh, no,
It's
not
ear-
newspaper.
just
No,
early in my
this
career.
was born out of a competitive nature to prove to Hank Goldberg that he could do it better.
I just wanted to have a voice opposite his in town
a
because
little bit. A little concession.
That's
Come on.
competitive.
It's okay.
That's competitive.
That's
I
fine.
remember the day that we beat him in the ratings. It was a big day.
that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, do you think writers don't have egos?
No.
You bought everybody at the quarter deck a lemon drop.
Wow. Money bag.
Damn.
Powerline Road.
To answer your question, Jess, writing, yes. This, I feel like Dan, maybe I just caught Dan at the right time, but it just feels like it's always been a labor of love. Like, let's have fun. Let's have fun.
Well, because you say money. You were just saying for a second ago, we're all competitive about that.
Yeah,
and
about the
when
money, yeah.
when I get accused correctly by the audience about talking the industry too much, it's only because I'm genuinely fascinated, as people who are still coming up in it in some ways, whether you guys are interested in watching the people who are taking the most interesting paths to the pioneering routes. It is really hard to retire from your sport and make a broadcasting career. Draymond's one of the few to figure it out. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to start building it right now so retirement's easier. And I'm fascinated by how Redick has done it. If you told me when he was in college that he'd be able to pull it off, I'd say no. He's one of the most hated people in the history of Duke basketball. Yeah. Like, that's the most hated of the most hated. There's no way.
It is a pretty excellent point. I'd take myself back to that time.
But he's doing.
I don't think I've ever really seen anything like that in college.
I told Dan that up until like 2009, if you went to a Wizards game and the opposing team was on the free throw line, they would throw up J.J. Redick's face to make the crowd go crazy and boo.
But to be now in his 40s, the dude that he was as a player, which is he's going on First Take and he's insulting everybody by saying, this is beneath me. Thank you for the platform. I'll use it for the moment, but I'm going to show you how I don't agree with how you guys do television. You guys are doing this dumber than I want to do it.
But having said that, he does this all the time, because remember when he said guys in the 80s played against plumbers and electricians and shit? He said that on First Take. This isn't the first time J.J. Redick has said some out-of-pocket, just Neanderthal sports take. So, like, stop acting like you're above it, J.J., because you do that shit too.
You're going to get clipped, and you're going to be wearing that shirt, and he is not even going to click the thumbnail. He's going to be like, what the is this?
Look into this guy. Look at what happened to him when he left ESPN.
Can you spare $1?